Hey, Christina K here from WriteYourBestBook.com. So briefly today, we're going to talk about how to go from story idea to actually sitting down and writing your novel and getting it down on the page. Because I get this question on TikTok all the time, especially from the newer writers, younger writers. I've got an idea, but I don't know where to go next. That's okay, because you're one in a million. You're one of many who feel the same exact way, especially when we're first starting out. We have decided we want to write a novel. We may even have a nugget of an idea, but how do you go from I have an idea to I'm actually writing a book? So there's a few things that you can do to get from up here to on the page, all right? And the first thing that you want to do, hear me out, is consider plotting your novel. I know some of you are pantsers, maybe 50% of you are pantsers. I used to be a pantser until I discovered the hero's journey. And until I discovered that plotting actually did help me quite a bit avoid pitfalls, inconsistencies, and even that dreaded writer's block. So I'm not saying that you can't pants it. If you work better as a pantser, by all means, go for it. You do you. But I'm speaking specifically to newer authors who are stuck with that idea in their mind and they just cannot get to where they're typing up their novel. Try plotting. There are several different plotting methods you can use. Again, I use a combination of the 3-act method and the hero's journey. I keep a spreadsheet for every novel that I write, and it's broken down into 3 acts. What is the main thing that's going to happen in each act? And then by chapter, I go in and I just do one quick line. I don't write a big summary for each chapter, just one line. In this chapter, Detective Castaros does this. In chapter 2, the victim does this, or whatever. That is really one way that you can kind of go from idea to actually writing, is by thinking it through, first breaking it down into 3 big steps. That is, what's going to happen in the beginning, generally, what's going to happen in the middle, generally, and what's going to happen at the end of your story, generally. And then once you have kind of figured those 3 plot points out, try breaking it down using the hero's journey, save the cat, snowflake method. There are so many different plotting methods you could use. I don't know a lot about Save the Cat. It's relatively new. It came from screenwriting, I believe. And snowflake method to me is kind of complicated, but the hero's journey is pretty easy. There are 12 basic steps and it's very character driven. It takes you from the very beginning, showing the protagonist in their ordinary world, which is what I always tell you to do anyway at the beginning of your novel, all the way through their journey, meeting allies and enemies, approaching the villain's lair, all the way through the conflict and all the way to the resolution of the story. So it's something to consider. At least try it. So that's the very first thing I would recommend if you're having trouble going from story idea to writing your story. Another thing is, if you're just stuck with that one idea, that nugget, and you don't know how else to turn it into a full-fledged story, try brainstorming with a writerly friend, someone that you trust that is also a writer or a creative person, a good storyteller. Doesn't have to be a best-selling novelist. Doesn't have to be, it could be your mom if she's very creative, or your sister. For me, I'm lucky. I have a mother who's a writer and a sister who's a writer and tons of friends that are writers. So whenever I have an idea and all I can think of is that nugget and I cannot get past that little nugget of an idea, I call my writer friends or family and I say, guys, I'm stuck. I don't know how to go from this to this. And they don't write the story for me, don't get me wrong. And they don't even spoon feed me plot details. But when I'm stuck and I say, this is where I'm stuck, I don't know what to have the character do after this scene, they usually, well, if I were a reader, I would want to see this happen. And then that right there is enough to spur me into action. Oh, okay, that's great. And then usually my brain just starts going, just by one little suggestion on their part. So that's the second thing you can do, which is, again, reach out to writer or creative friends that you trust and that you can depend on, that will give you good, dependable feedback and you can brainstorm with and bounce ideas off of. The third thing you can do is like Stephen King says, in order to be a good writer, you must read, read, read. Okay, so if you're stuck and you don't know how to, let's say you want to write a suspense novel. That's what I write. So what I would do is, if I just have this nugget of an idea and I can't get past it and I don't know how to develop it, I'll just stop trying for a couple days. I'll pick up a book, whatever's the newest bestseller, because you want to make sure that you're doing this with recent, relevant, best-selling novels, because you want to see how the pros do it, right? I'll pick up like Gone Girl at the time when it was really popular, even though I didn't love it, but or any of Gillian Flynn's other books, or Karen Slaughter, or Lisa Gardner, and I'll read their books. These are authors I really admire and I like their style. I'll read their novel, but I read it not just for leisure. I use highlighters, I use Post-it notes, I use pens. I clip it, pin it, highlight it, all that stuff. Anytime I see a great thing that I really like, or a way that the author does something that's really impressive to me, of course we're not plagiarizing, of course we're not copying, you can't take their story idea, but you would be amazed at how much just reading in your chosen genre and kind of studying it will actually light a fire in your mind and get those creative juices flowing again. And fourth, you can try some freestyle writing. Don't try to focus on that book that you're stuck in. Don't try to focus on getting that one done if that's not coming out right. Then try writing prompts. You can find writing prompts on Instagram. You can find writing prompts on Pinterest. You could journal. You could just write about your bucket list. Write about your true love, if you've met them or if you haven't, what they're going to be like. Your first Christmas memory, whatever it is, just write something. Journal or type up a page or two short story. Whatever you do, it's going to at least keep the creative wheels turning, and it's going to get you in the mindset of being creative and writing. And the only other thing I can recommend, if you can't get unstuck and you can't get to where you're putting words on the page, do something else for a moment. And when I say moment, I mean a couple of days. Go for a jog, pick up a needlepoint project, watch a documentary series on television, do yoga, take a hot bath with bath bombs, do a manicure, pedicure, whatever it is that you do to relieve stress and kind of unwind might actually help you kind of get out of that tense feeling that you have because you're stuck. And those are the things that I would try. Be sure, if you need any more writing advice, tips, or tricks, to always visit our website, writeyourbestbook.com. To get a free sample edit, email us at info@writeyourbestbook.com. And also, if you want a free author coaching call, info@writeyourbestbook.com. Please hit the subscribe button and leave us a comment, because that helps us. We're a new channel, admittedly so. We're fine on TikTok, we're fine everywhere else, but we're new to YouTube, so I could use your support. Please leave a comment. Let us know how we're doing. And anything that you want us to talk about, leave it in the comments. I promise I'll add it and I'll do a video for it. How's that sound? All right, talk soon. And in the meantime, go write your best book.